Hey William, okay, I've prepared 3 little sessions for you. Let's start with the first one. It's for the jumping skill and it's just for the hip area. Okay, so what you're doing is you start with a mobility flow. This is not stretching, this is just getting a big range of motion. And the range of motion is responsible for the receptors in your tendons and muscles. There are more receptors than that can sense the movement. And this is why we start with the mobility stuff. So you start in side bend sit and you go for a bigger wide bend sit. That's an extended side bend sit. And then you stretch down like this to get the glute stretched. I think that's gluteus medius mostly. Okay, then when you come up, you can bring this side bend sit in and go for stretching like this, getting the hip extension. Then you extend your legs as much as possible in this old position, and then you go in an end range rotation in the hips into the open long sit. You get the tension a bit out and you stretch into the hamstrings. The stretching is a bit the wrong word. You actually just do a bit of a, you're not holding this for 30 seconds and getting the tension completely out, you more bounce a bit in like this, okay? Then you go for the inside, pushing forward like this. You can also use this little movement, so don't go in an end range, keep a bit of looseness in it so you can move like this. Okay, you get back a bit, so you can bounce into this side. Then you try to work on the fringes to get into stretch of the flexors in the front. You can also, as I said, bouncing or a bit of movement in the end range. Not stretching, but mobility. Okay, and then you extend this again and go down like this, and also work around like this. Don't be on one spot. Don't be on one spot and stay there and wait until maybe the muscles get longer. It's more that give them elasticity, give them different angles, give them different tensions. Okay, this you can do maybe just 2 rounds. So not too much stretching, just a bit of elongation and a bit of bouncing. That's actually like bouncing gymnastics, which are good for warm-up, and not static stretching, which actually reduce the tension and bring the muscle in trouble to contract again. Okay, so this is the first mobility flow. Then you go lying to sitting with a rocking. Get already a bit the hip hinge in. Just do some repetitions here, also to activate the core. We need the core always. So when we work on hips, knees, especially on the hips, core needs to be integrated. When we work on the shoulders, also the core needs to be integrated. Okay, then you are in the sitting position and you work into kneeling positions. I think from sitting like this, try to be as open as possible to get a bit of a maximum range of motion in. Then work yourself into this open half kneeling. Side bend sit working into split kneeling. Narrow open half bend sit working into half kneeling. There's a bit of a rotation in it. And full cross closed half bend sit. Sorry, that's my name for it. working into this tall half kneeling, a tall kneeling, a tall cross kneeling if you are extending your hips in the end, bringing the other knees down like this. Okay, so there would be a combination of mobility and stability, and also there's pattern in it, there's always the hip hinge in it. And then, now wherever you want to switch from the kneeling positions into the tall half kneeling, now comes a decisive thing, this details, as I said, this intrinsic motivated movement. So for getting up, you go into the flexed foot kneeling, and now you not just get up for an external purpose and the rest of your body need to function. You are making your points of support stronger, and this means you press into the points of support, and you should feel immediately that there is a tension in the knee and mostly in the hip. Yeah? So you press down, and the more you press down, the more the muscle contracts, and in the end there will be a lifting or the shortening of the muscle with effect into movement. Yeah, so you're pressing into it until you feel it lifts you. So when I'm pressing into it, I'm activating the local stabilizers. When the movement starts, global stabilization acts into local stabilization acts into global stabilization. That means from the hip and knee local stabilization, they get connected. And then comes the end result is the global movers. That's the big muscles that actually move the joints. Yeah? So pressing into it, local stabilization. A little movement, global stabilization, and then coming up, global movement. And you stop in a single leg stance balancing, because then you again get effect into the local and global stabilizers. Okay, same down. Right? You can start to press into the ground, and while going down, pressing, and then relax. And it is very important that you're feeling the differentiation between being relaxed and being tense. It means start relaxed and then tense. Yeah? Start in the position, that's it, and then build up tension. It's a bit like a single leg squat, and in the end, consciously relax again. So your body learns to switch on and switch off, and not always have a twilight activation, both at the same time. It makes no sense. Sorry. You do this in different directions. Yeah, you do this in the front, tall half kneeling, you do it open, tall half kneeling, and you do it crossed, tall half kneeling. Like this, yeah? You will feel when you try to press into this, it will shift your center of gravity in the optimal position. Right, okay. And what you can do is that again, conscious control over your body. You try to focus on that whenever you work, that your hip flexors are staying as relaxed as possible, and your glutes are tensing up. If you are thinking about it, it will follow your command. So you really try to just push here, tension here, trying to feel that the tension is going more to the outside and not so much to the inside. It goes, but you should try to regulate it a bit by conscious regulation. Okay, that's it.